Peace, peace, peace. Greetings to all, peace to all, love to all, harmony, clarity, exposure to divine truth to all. Give honor to the source, to creator. Man, finish up my oatmeal as I create this one. Just got a lot of, what you want to call it? Thinking out loud. I call this one thinking out loud. Confessions. Questions. What does security look like to you? I guarantee you, my opinion, or just my expression. Sit down with some kids and ask them what security looks like to them without them knowing anything or having knowledge about money, a sense of security, even a baby, simple things. I'm pretty sure the underlining or overlining of it all would be love. Because most of that security ideally comes from within. But what is really safe? A wise woman once told me years ago, she said, I told her as she was leaving, I think it was an Uber, and I said, be safe after our conversation. She said, safes can be broken into. I was like, well, okay then, wise words from a woman or from a, beautiful being that she was. I say that to say this. I'm just gonna go on an expression rant, use my imagination, have y'all questioning everything. What is really safe? No matter what country you're in, no matter where you are right now, what has really been safe? Who has been safe? What are we safe from? And I know a lot of y'all, when y'all hear me talk about being secure within yourself, spiritual security, because you've been in an environment, how have you been safe from speaking your divine truth, from voicing your opinion? I asked the sister today, and I asked her just randomly, like, how can we create a place? How and can we, what and how, as men, help create I guess I can say, like, more healthier environment for our women to thrive or to be themselves? And um, her response was, if I could remember, along down the lines of, like, basically cultivating or creating a space where they feel safe, where they're able to feel secure, free to be themselves. And I know it was more to it. And, you know, not wanting to experience more pain. And I was like, whoa. So when I read it, because we all perceive things differently, when I read it and what I got from it, it's like, wow, how do we create this? Where do we begin? Because this is something that has been ignored so much over time. And the reason I say ignored is because how can we really say that the countries or places we've been living in, being that most of what it was constructed by, the false illusions of safety, the false illusions of freedom, the land of the so-called free, yet the opposite of what freedom really is when you're knowingly or unknowingly for some, consciously and unconsciously being monitored and now seeing all these things being exposed. This has also caused other people to be programmed to monitor others. What they may call love. And in reality, it's like a sense of control. Or some may say wanting and desperately trying to control the masses. So a lot of what I'm, again, if you want to say this is for entertainment purposes, I just want you to think for a moment to yourself. Who has your mind? Have you been thinking for yourself? Do you know what it is to really speak for yourself without fear? Be yourself unapologetically, like that of a child. I was talking to someone earlier. I was like, you know who know how to be themselves more than anybody? Because we get so caught up in this bullshit, what an adult is. Or, I mean, you're just more responsible when you age. You just have more responsibility, and what I honestly feel like their responsibility is more responsibility to yourself. Because life is going to force you to no longer be codependent on others, but be more interdependent or more dependent on self, that being your spirit and your physical. So as much as people are laughed at, whether they're titled healers, spiritualists, oh, you're crazy for doing that, or you're wicked, you're evil for studying that, and how dare you, and that goes against your norm, your religion, or whatever it is that your beliefs are, and I'm supposed to see myself as not worthy of this existence or not worthy of being who I am because simply you or whomever has this perception of me that I am not valuable, and that my value system and my belief system isn't, you know, so focused on external things. And so, as I said before, this is going to become very apparent in these coming moments because so many are so dependent systematically on things that are unfulfilled. So again, where is the safety? Where does your safety lies? Where is your true security? So when a sister expressed that to me, it just came to me. I was like, let me ask her this. I was like, you know what? That's a real, her response was beautiful. But everyone's response will be different. And it goes back into like asking people like, you know, what is security for you? And a lot of people, due to their programming or due to what they've experienced, not to say, you know, no one's judging you about what it is you believe in or whatever your value is. This goes back to your value system. The first thing a lot of people will say due to what they've learned is about money. Everyone can view money differently though. But I say that to say this is that the first thing is always about money, a house, possessions, or materials. Now what's very important, as I've expressed, and why I do this shit and I love this, is because all of that matters to some, but simply a peace of mind is more valuable than all of that in my world. A peace of mind, harmony, joy, love. See, we don't really talk about how a society or a place is just so driven off as to I was affected by this and everyone else here or that lives in certain countries that prides themselves on violence, dysfunction, narcissism, imbalance. And now that all this stuff is being exposed, what are we going to do about it? Now you're realizing you thought you were safe. Safe from what? I used to tell someone, I'm like, how many of y'all know how to make a fucking fire? Build something. Grow your own food. The truth, like a lot of stuff, like the reality, because I ain't gonna give you fantasy. The reality is that people are like, come on, y'all, we're too focused on so much mundane shit. Like, this person did this to me, this person did this to me, this happened. And it's not to say to ignore your pain, but when do we make a decision to actually find a solution? Have we ever had a solution through all of our so-called existence or being here, however the age that you are? Microwavable society. I think one of the greatest things I've learned is to create and grow a garden. I was telling someone, I was like, the city life and everything is different for people. It's like, it's been a while since I've been in a city, or more so like the big ones. One of them I went to months ago, but let me tell you something that Drew, like, and I know people can relate to this shit. Get these eye boogers out because I really don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you why I love nature and how much it just reminds me of who I am. First of all, ain't nothing out here is in a rush to grow. Ain't nothing out here is in a rush to die or leave or dissipate or depart. All of this shit reminds me of my purpose. It's like, hey, I was a seed planted. They were a seed. Eventually, they do and serve their purpose here. And it's interesting because, the tree, how I be breaking up my tree analogies. All these things have a purpose. Some may even say, because I feel like everything here is either to be used or used for the benefit to help something else, or has its purpose into helping something. What's that African proverb? Or it may be something like, you never see branches fight amongst each other. So that's how I view, if you want to call it America, the land or whatever. It amazes me how people want to stay and live in an environment where it's constant fucking chaos. It's constant, like, repetitive delusion, confusion, just desperate attempts into keeping people at a lower state or keeping them in a place of not ever desiring to experience joy and love and happiness. It's like, where are the people where y'all at? Where are the people that want and desire to live in peace, in harmony, in love, in joy, in bliss? That is your fucking birthright. Oh, okay, let me not get this confused. Some of you think your birthright is just simply come here to work. It's just simply come here to work your hands to the bone. or to just simply be miserable, be at odds, because that's what you're fueled by. The key, you know what? You know how you teetering between sanity and insanity, or like, do I help this person? Oh no, I need to help myself. That's like that crossroad thing. I'll tell you more about my journey. It's like, and a lot of, I know people, well, it ain't, some that will relate. This goes back to the safety thing, man. First of all, let me acknowledge the fact of how the misconception of what the divine mother isn't, and how we all affected by, if you want to call it the matrix system, or even so much about the distorted mother and father, the false perception of what a mother is, the false energy and narrative that women have been in, who also, again, our fathers have been affected by. So mothers, daughters, fathers, sons. And that being said, part of what a lot of us, and I'm going to speak for the men first, because let me tell you one thing. I'm afraid of commitment. I do not fear anything, but I can acknowledge. Because you got to see, sometimes spiritual warfare is you got to acknowledge that spirit. You got to acknowledge those things that want to stay in the shadows. Because again, look, what would be the light without the darkness? So I've learned that a part of me wanting to depart and get away from certain people is that I learned that to talk about the problems, the issues all the time, or to find an escapism through whatever it is, I'm just no longer there. That's a part of reclaiming my own power, my own everything, is because I choose to face what it is, acknowledge it, and then that illuminates what that shadow or what wants to hide. And I'm able to be like, aha, see you, mother lover. But again, I say that to say this, is that confessions of what men won't say, and this is to our women. I am at the point, I was afraid of commitment. Afraid of committing, whether it be partnership, marriage. I'm scared shitless of it. That doesn't mean I fear it. It's just again, childhood. We have to realize, like, our childhoods, we're living out our subconscious, our greatest fears that are coming, that are purging. We're purging at the same time giving birth spiritually to something new. Like, I'm giving birth to this shit right now, like, ugh. And I don't, this not, what those of those that know. It's because, again, it's been hoarded down. So I'm purging it, and at the same time, I'm giving birth to something new. And in giving birth to something new, it's like, well, in that purging, a lot of us are purging inwardly, going through awakenings. Purging is like, can you imagine throwing up? You're purging all of the lies that you told yourself, all of the false programmings, all of the narratives that have been, being recreated in your mind, and the delusion, the confusion. You're like, ugh, all this stuff is coming out. You're like, what is this?